Welcome to Saturdays with Adam. I'm wearing my special, sometimes it's my Sinatra hat, sometimes it's my spy hat. I got it in San Francisco this last week. There was a 1920s party, which was a lot of fun. So I got to get myself a nice new fedora, something I thought I would never own. I'm kind of liking it. I can see it here on the camera. So San Francisco's a wild place, folks. I'm wearing a spy hat for the party, but also because I want to talk today about something I learned this week. It wasn't an easy lesson, and it has to do with spying, or really seeing into other people and making assumptions. So two things happened this week. The first one, I did an interview with just this amazing couple. They're beautiful people physically, they're beautiful people spiritually. They've been together a number of years. They've both done terrific years and years of awareness practice. So they tend to be very responsive and thoughtful people. They also happen to be very brilliant. And they teach on love and communication, and they're terrific. And we did this great interview, and as soon as the interview was over and everyone had to go to dinner, they started bickering about getting to dinner on time. And I loved that. And they looked at me like, here we are, love teachers, and we're bickering, minor bickering. And I said, this is great, bring it on, because you guys seem so perfect to me. It's nice to know that you're human. And I'm sure you've had that experience sometimes with other couples, with people, just to believe that they're human because we have ideas about what's going on inside people. The second thing that happened to me with this week is much heavier. A friend of mine died from childhood. And not just any friend and not just any death. They said it was suicide. And he's a really well-known guy here in Hollywood. He is one of the most successful writers in television, producer, good friend, has a beautiful marriage, a beautiful daughter that he loves dearly and is involved in her life. And so we're all really rocked about this. Was this really the papers were calling it suicide? I'm still holding out that it wasn't. I still think it can't be. And the only explanation my friends and I have come up with so far is there was maybe some switch in medication. But apparently this guy who, like I said, I've known since 5th grade, was always happy, was beloved. His Facebook page is just a torrent of beautiful stories about how he helped people throughout his life and how wonderful he was to people. And a lot of confusion about how someone like this could have committed suicide. And I said afterwards, if you made a list of 20 people or 50 people who I thought would have committed suicide, I'd probably be at the bottom because I really love my life. He would be right there with me. So it was a bit of a shocker and a terrible thing. And a friend of mine, some of you may know her, Deb Kagan. She teaches women. She teaches a great course called Rocking Your Mojo and Sensual Empowerment. She said something really interesting. I was walking around the streets of San Francisco talking to her on the phone, and she said something brilliant that really applies also to dating and to life in general. She said, never compare your inner life to someone's outer life, right? We all always say that we don't know what's going on in other people. That's kind of obvious. You never really know what their inner life is. But the mistake we make is we tend to compare our inner life, what we know, with all our self-doubt and all our shame and all our fear and all our sense of loss and worry about isolation and rejection and mortality and all the things that we carry in us. That's what we know. But we don't know what's happening in the other person. We see what's on the outside. So like that couple I mentioned in the beginning, you see them on the outside and they're fantastic. And they are fantastic. But then you come across a situation like this with a friend who seems to have the perfect life. I mean, if anyone I know, he seemed to have the perfect life. Remember that story, Richard Cory? It's a song by Paul Simon, but it's a poem that goes way back, I think, centuries originally. And you realize how little you know about other people's inner lives. Now, if I can jump this a little to the dating world, and really blessings to my friend, I'm not a happy situation. But to take it into our own lives. And not just dating, right? We're talking about love, we're talking about intimacy, we're talking about connection. I have spoken to women who are beautiful women who they'll sit. I was speaking to this one woman. She was actually a Playboy cover model, I think 8 times. And she's a friend, and she was sitting on a rooftop in Denver at a bar and talking to me by phone, and says, "Why won't anyone talk to me? I'm here with a friend, and she's beautiful, and no one will talk to us. And women often wonder what's wrong with men, right? And men will wonder what's inside. They look at a beautiful woman and they see this woman and they see her as an object of desire and they don't actually see her as a human being. They have no idea what's going on inside her. They couldn't have known that this woman has 2 degrees, by the way, right? They couldn't have known that she was really hoping to meet a nice person. You know, she's a model, she does that, but she's a wonderful, beautiful, full human being who was looking for a relationship. But no one would approach her because they assumed on the outside that that she couldn't possibly have any self-doubts, that she was probably looking for an outside to match an outside. So remember my friend Deb's words. Don't compare your inner world to someone's outer world. And there are other stories too. Women talk to me and they say, you know, why are guys such jerks? Why can't they just talk to me normal? Why can't they just, you know, have a normal conversation and not want to impress me and try to act like a jackass? And what I would ask women to do is to see, is not to take that outer world as seriously as the men seem to be taking it, because what they might not see, what you might not see, inside is the men's fear of being seen, pain at being alone. So many men in my community that I know said, well, I've tried being myself, but I'm not getting any attention. So what else can I try? Maybe I'll wear the big furry hat or the fedora in this case. Men are confused. They don't quite know how to approach you. They don't know how assertive to be. There's a great Louis C.K. Bit, I will put it up, where he says, what do you want me to rape you? The woman is saying, you know, I want you to be aggressive. I want you to be assertive. I want you to be masculine. And when I say no, I want you to still make love to me. And he's confused, and a lot of men have this confusion. So there's a lot going on inside the other gender, you know, whether you're dating or whether you're married or in a relationship. The task is to have what's called binocular vision. Try to see the world with your own vision, but try to see what's happening from her vision or his vision as well. I'm going to be talking a lot about conflict resolution and how to not tear each other apart once you're in a relationship. You'll be hearing a lot about that from me in the next couple of months. I'm doing a lot of research in this area because I see great relationships get torn apart just because people don't have the skills and the awareness to handle conflict when it arises. So try to see the world from the other person's point of view. Don't confuse your inner world with their outer world. Their outer world, as beautiful as it may seem, might be riven through with depression, as we discovered, loneliness, pain. Men like to talk about the bitch shield that women put up. They do that to protect themselves. So let's try to reconfigure everything. Instead of having an instant judgment on each other, try to see through. Get curious. My favorite word in relationship is curious. Get curious about that person's experience and stay curious about that person's experience. And my other favorite word is empathy. And empathy means trying to feel that person's world from their point of view rather than through your own point of view. Not necessarily easy, but has big payoffs. So that's this week. Have a great weekend. Remember that beautiful statement. Don't compare your inner world with someone's outer world. They have an inner world too, and it's your task, if you want to find love in this world, is to quiet your inner world a little bit so you can hear their inner world. Have a great weekend, and rock on. Enjoy.